Do you know what you're listening to?
You're listening to Thoughts of the Week.
Oh, how's that?
What's up, everybody? You're definitely rocking with the best. Yes, indeed. This is Thoughts of the Week podcast. And I thank you guys for checking the show out, checking the podcast show out. And we're just going to get right into things. And lately, since the presidential election is coming up, there's been a lot of things going on social media, and what I've been noticing, let's just get right into it. I've been noticing a lot of, not a lot, but there's starting to be a ramping up of black people starting to campaign or co-sign Bloomberg, as Trump would say, Mini Mike Bloomberg. And there's been a lot of talk, and there's been a lot of people who, and I'm talking about black folks, it seems like there's been a lot of people off and on who have been mentioning that Bloomberg has apologized, right, about his stop and frisk rulings in New York. And a lot of people are kind of pushing that narrative out there about him apologizing as if it's okay. And like I said, there was a gentleman, I'm not gonna say his name, black dude, but I'll probably put the picture up here for you guys to see him. Not anybody that's like internationally or nationally famous, anything like that, but a person in society. I guess you could say everybody's in society. But he did a video kind of campaigning for Bloomberg, and then some of the things he was saying in the video I wasn't feeling myself personally. And it was interesting, some of the stuff he was saying, because I commented some things below. And what I'm going to do is let you guys listen to that video. If I can get it pulled up, I'm gonna let you in listening to that video, the audio of it anyway, and then discuss some of the things that you have been listening to. All right, so let me see if I can pull this up here. And before I get to that, there's a lady I know. She's a dentist. I don't know her like super personally. She used to be. Some years back, I went to her for some dental cleaning and, just some maintenance to take care of my teeth. It was some years back. But I recently seen a post. It showed up in my feed where she was standing with Bloomberg, giving him a hug with one arm, and then the other arm, putting her arm up like, as if he already had this victory. And I'll try to put that up here too. And she was pretty much saying, hey, look, and that was another one that mentioned, this is a black woman. The other one was a black man. It's a black woman. And she also said, look, he's apologized for the stop and frisk. She even went as far to say Bloomberg is not racist. And I think she said something to the effect that she's her friend or he's her friend, as if like they're really cool with each other and they can get in contact with them, something to along that lines. And what was interesting, what hit me when I seen her post maybe a day or two ago, was that she's saying some of the same things that this other black man roughly about a week or so ago when he was saying and mentioning in this video. So I was like, that's interesting. So I started putting on my analytical hat, my critical thinking hat, and I said, hey, you have this lady saying this, and then roughly a week or so ago when I was commenting on this guy's video, he was saying the same thing. And these are people who have businesses. So that's another thing I'm looking at. So I'm gonna for one thing, I'm gonna definitely pay attention. I'm gonna definitely pay attention to who is bigging up or who is going out there campaigning for Bloomberg, and find out and see what type of people they are, because I'm starting to see a developing pattern of those who are supporting Bloomberg. And so under the ladies, and I'm gonna show you the picture here, and as I'm talking, the picture will be on the screen. The same thing with the guy. You'll see their pictures on the screen because social media is public, right? So nothing wrong with putting them on the screen. I'm not saying nothing bad about them, but at the same time, there needs to be some checking going on. Because, well, let me get back to this before I get into that. I'm sure at some point I'll mention it. But so when she made the comment, or it was in her post that, hey, he's not racist, he's cool. I'm just kind of paraphrasing. He's cool. He's not racist. I'm a friend. He's a friend. And I started noticing, she's a dentist. This other guy, I'm thinking he's kind of in the securities type business, or maybe he has a couple of different types of businesses. I said, that's real interesting. They're getting these type of black folks to use them to gather up black people to really stand by Bloomberg. And another thing that was in comparison between the two, black man, black woman, I'm pretty sure they don't know each other. I'm almost positive they don't know each other. They could meet up at some point down the road, but I'm pretty sure they don't know each other. But another thing that was kind of interesting was, what were they saying? The comparisons, I just kind of lost my train of thought. The comparisons were, they're in a pretty profitable businesses. They're black, they're being used to campaign. They're saying the same, almost similar talking points, as they're both saying the same thing. He's not racist. Oh, here was what I was getting to. They were also both saying that they just want to vote they want people to vote Bloomberg just to get Trump out. Only that's it. They didn't add anything to it. It's just to get Trump out. Now, I'm saying that to say, I'm not trying to say I care about 45, because I know what the game is with him. But the whole point is look at the thinking and look at how they're just talking about their only objective is to get somebody else to vote somebody else in just to remove Trump. They didn't add to say, hey, look, we need to get Bloomberg in because he will change things. They use the word change, but they don't never explain what that change is. But the whole thing is just to vote Bloomberg just to get Trump out. Nothing else. It's not like, hey, there's unarmed black people getting shot by the police, right? There is non-black citizens attacking black citizens, and that could be in the form of Asians. You remember the nail salons? Quite a bit of incidents have happened in nail salons. You had these white males shooting up places, and more recently you have where young black boys in school, whether it's elementary, middle school, high school, the school administrations and administrators have been taking issue with these black boys and their hairstyles. Out of all things to worry about, they're concerned with black boys and black girls, the way their hairstyles are looking. And I find that interesting because there used to be a law in the 1700s called the Tinyon Law. You guys can look up Black History Minute. That's a show that I do as well, of just black history facts, known, unknown, old and new, where there was an actual law where black women had to cover up their hair. And that was in the 1700s. And now we're in the 2000s, and there's still issues with little black boys and black girls' hair. And school administration is suspending them, suspending kids because they got the dreadlock style, suspending the black females because their hairstyles a certain way. That seems intimidating to them. They're so intimidated by these kids. And it's kind of interesting going back to the talking points that this black female had, grown black woman, grown black man. I think he might be in his 60s. I think she's in her late 40s or early 50s. And they have similar talking points. And their only objective is to get rid of Trump by voting Bloomberg. And people don't even realize Bloomberg is really a Republican, trying to front off like he's a Democrat. But this is what they're doing. These are the tactics they're using, and still they're using these tactics. And at the end result, let's just say hypothetically, let's say Bloomberg did win president. Black folks, do you really think your situation's going to change? I almost go to the thing, looking at the situation as who's next? Who's going to have that next child that's going to be disrespected and discriminated because they hair? You know, God forbid somebody else gets shot and they weren't armed. They weren't doing anything out the way. They were doing everything they was told to do, and they still get shot. They even go as far as getting down on the ground. Remember that one dude a few years back where there was mentally disabled, might have been an adult or a kid, and he was trying to actually help the kid or the adult because I think he worked at the facility, and the police jumped on him. He laid down on his back, put his hands and feet in the air, and the police still was shooting at him. And this guy worked at the facility. And I think that was the one, or it might have been another case, but there was a case where one of the guys was getting shot at, and he asked the police, man, what you shoot at me for? And the police officer told him, I don't know. And we're only gonna, and you got these black folks trying to get other black folks to vote Bloomberg just to get Trump out. But yet you heard somebody say, and you can go research this, man. I forget which incident it was, but when the guy asked the officer, like, what you shoot at me for? I don't know if he actually shot him, but he shot at him. And the officer said, I don't know. I don't even know why I did it. So the vote is just boiled down to just to remove one person out so you can put somebody else in. But once you do that, then what? Then what's going to happen? I asked that question. What's going to happen? Let's say you do. They get all these black people to vote for them. And I know there's a lot of black people who are not going for the game. They know what's up. They know the game is being played. There's a lot of black people actually waking up now. They're understanding. They're getting conned every single year, and every single 4 years, they're getting conned. They're getting nothing in return. They're being disrespected. They're still getting mistreated. And then we have these black buffoons that they putting out there to try to recruit other black folks into voting. And you're not getting nothing in return. this is what I don't understand. And in one sense, I'm wondering, do these well-to-do or so-called well-to-do black folks, don't they understand that? Don't they see that? Or is it that they're getting paid off, and so that money just put the blinders on them? They might have seen all this going on before, and now the blinders get put on. And I remember there was a time when the woman, and we're going to show you a picture of her and her name, and we're going to show you the dude's name. If it's not on the screen now, it will be. But there was a time when the woman that I'm referring to, the lady that I'm referring to, I think she was making other past posts, campaigning for certain treatments and certain things to be right. And now it's like she did a total 180 and went the other direction. And now that I'm even talking right now, I think there is somebody else, and I would have to go back and research another black woman's post. And this black woman is a kind of a well-to-do. And I need to go back and research her post again, because I think that she's even going to the direction of going Bloomberg. So there is definitely something going on here where they're using blacks to get other black folks to get on this Bloomberg train, or as Trump would say, the mini Mike. So I'll say mini Mike train. There's something definitely going on here, for sure. And again I say, we kind of see what the purpose is, kind of, or at least I'm seeing, a picture starting to form here. The tactic is to use like dentists, lawyers. I'm talking about black dentists, black lawyers, black doctors, black people in the private sector, running their own businesses. They're the ones that's being used to recruit and gather up other black folks to get on this Bloomberg train. And the only agenda is, from what I'm seeing and what I'm looking at and what I'm hearing, is just to vote Bloomberg to get Trump out. That's the only agenda. And that's the only objective, is to get Trump out. Not to improve black folks' situation. We all know what's been going on with the reparations situation. They're doing everything they can to avoid it. We know Bernie Sanders isn't down for it. We know his comments. And then he has some other stuff in his past regarding women. We know what Biden's about. I think Bernie Sanders and Biden was down with the 94 crime bill. And if you don't know what that's about, look that up. So it's time that black folks, for the ones that haven't woken up, you need to start looking, keeping your eyes open and paying more attention and listening from both sides. Listen to the sides. If I guess it's okay, it's cool to listen to the sides of the black folks who are campaigning for pretty much the slave master to take care of them. And then listen to the black folks who are telling you, or who are saying, yo, none of these people is good. And they're giving receipts as to why. They're showing you, they're giving you information. It's no longer a thing where people are just saying, even though if it's true, a lot of times people don't want to buy into it because they're looking at it from the standpoint of, oh, you just saying this. You ain't got no proof and you're not going to back up. But now people are pulling out receipts on these folks and showing you, sometimes even letting you hear, because there's audio, of what these people are about, and they never changed. Their mindset was always the same. And I think recently in one of the debates, Mini Mike did a lot of fumbles against Elizabeth Warren, and she's a slickster too. And the one thing I didn't comment when I was commenting on the ladies' post that I didn't mention, let me see. Oh, let me get to that real quick. I'm kind of jumping from back and forth here as things come to mind. But one of the things I posted, because like I said, the lady posted, yeah, he's not a racist and I'm for him. And so I put a link in the comments saying, well, have him explain, since you're so good of friends with Bloomberg, have him explain this. And I put a link to a video where Bloomberg was actually blaming black folks for the housing crisis. That's not being mentioned either, or that's nothing I heard. But he was blaming black people for the reason why the housing crisis wasn't doing too well. So yeah, Bloomberg was saying it was black folks the reason why the housing crisis was the way it was. And this is the person that you have all these black folks is trying to get you, other black people, to co-sign to be president. And I wonder, as a hypothetical, like I said, I mentioned it earlier, I wonder, hypothetically, if Bloomberg won and got all these, for those, because I know it's not going to be every black person, but for the ones that these black folks is taking photo ops with Bloomberg and going out there and putting on their posts campaigning for Bloomberg, I wonder if he won and in the first year or sometime within the first 4 years things don't really go down too well for black folks, I wonder what all the black folks who voted for him will say, will act, will do to the ones who was recruiting them to go and vote for him, and then the ones who didn't vote for him, what will be their responses to the black folks who did the recruiting of other black folks, and to the black folks who fell for the okie doke and got on the Bloomberg train and voted for him. I just wonder. That's going to be something very, that would be something very interesting. I'm not saying that like it's going to go down that way. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let you hear this audio, and in between I'm going to make some stops and comment and play, so you can see what I'm talking about and listen to, and then I'm going to read off the post from the lady who I'm talking about, and you can compare what you heard and from what I'll be reading as to what's going on here. All right. So first, let me go on and play this audio, and let's break this audio down real quick. Here's the audio. This is of Clarence Neely. And as you guys see there, you see in his post, he says, Bloomberg 2020, he owes us. All right, Bloomberg 2020, he owes us. And he has 45 comments, 6 shares, and 110 views. All right, thus far. We don't know if it will increase later or not. But here's the audio, and from time to time, it's pretty long. I don't know how long I'm going to let it play. I don't know if I'm going to let it play for the whole, it's 24 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to let it play for the entire 24, or just break down a few little pieces of it and, go from there. We'll just see how things go. All right. So check it out.
Good morning, Facebook family and friends. I hope everybody's doing well on this Tuesday afternoon. I want to jump in real quick to talk about the presidential candidate Mike Bloomberg, who most of you know that I'm back in this presidential election. and talk about some of his.
Now, before I go on, you heard him say he was backing him for this election, all right? Let me play it back one more time. Because later on, if anything goes down and my man removes this video, he said he's going to keep his video there. Because I commented and said, do you plan on keeping this video here? And he says he said that he stands by what he's saying. And yes, he's going to keep the video up. All right. That was one of the comments I asked under the video, and later on he kind of he already done this live, I think, and so I was watching this as a replay video, and as the video was playing, I just commented on things, and as time went on, I guess he came back in because I guess he gets the notifications that people are commenting, and he responded to most or all of my comments. So let's hear it again.
Good morning, Facebook family and friends. I hope everybody's doing well on this Tuesday afternoon. I want to jump in real quick to talk about the presidential candidate, Mike Bloomberg, who most of you know that I'm back in this presidential election, and talk about some of his shortcomings, as in, stop and frisk, because that's going to be the big issue in the debate. And by the way, he just qualified for the debate in Nevada. So you're going to see power at work. You're about to see power at work with this presidential election.
So he said he's going to see power at work. And I think, like I said, I've just seen some highlights, but of him in one of the debates. It might have been the Nevada one. I said earlier that he had said Elizabeth Warren had confronted him on some things, and he stumbled real bad. He stumbled real bad and said some things that made people in the audience kind of ooh and ah. All right. So you guys can look that up and research that. But let's move on.
Come down to the battle of the billionaires. That's what it's going to boil down to. The battle of the billionaires. I'll say that again. It's going to boil down to the battle of the billionaires. Okay. So with that said, I'm still standing behind Mike Bloomberg. Donald Trump, in my opinion, is a great president. As you know, I don't never bash Donald Trump on my timeline or my Facebook page. He's the president, and I respect him as the president. However, it's time for him to go. The Donald Trump show, in my opinion, is over. And it's time to get serious about the country, about America. It's time to get serious about it, because if we don't, we might all be slaves to some foreign country. Okay, so it's time for us to get very serious about our country and education, our crime, our interaction, our social behaviors. It's just very...
Education, crime, our interactions, and our social behaviors. That's what this guy's talking about. That's affecting you black people? Is that the topics on the table for you guys? Everybody always talks about education, but money is never mentioned. Economics is never mentioned, right?
Be slaves to some foreign country. Okay, so it's time for us to get very serious about our country and education, our crime, our interaction, our social behaviors. It's time to get very serious about it. You know what I mean? So I think Mike Bloomberg, in terms of his promises.
Did he say Blake Bloomberg? And then earlier, didn't he say, he barely said the word Mike, but didn't he sound like he said Blueberg earlier?
You know what I mean? So I think Mike Bloomberg, in terms of his promises, I believe that he owes us, and because he's making a lot of promises.
Why does Bloomberg owe us? Yeah, I know he's going to mention stop and frisk, but he's not the only one that owes us. And who is us? I don't know for sure about this dude, but I'm almost thinking he's not a foundational black American, and I could be wrong. But his look, you can kind of tell when certain, people from the Caribbean, even if they don't have an accent, they kind of have a certain look. And I could be wrong. You guys will be looking at the picture. I could be wrong. But I digress. We won't look into too much of his looks. But let's keep listening to what he's saying.
Our country and education, our crime, our interaction, our social behaviors. It's time to get very serious about it. You know what I mean? So I think Bloomberg, in terms of his promises, I believe that he owes us. And because he's making a lot of promises. Ironically, I have his cell phone number. So I can hold him to his promises. I can be one that can hold him to his promises, and don't think I won't. Okay, I do that with local politicians. As a matter of...
He has his phone number. Ooh, you heard that? As a matter of fact, he has his phone number, and he can hold him to his promises. He's bragging up a big, he's big boy. He's the big man in the big house.
I believe that he owes us, and because he's making a lot of promises. Ironically, I have his cell phone number, so I can hold him to his promises. I can be one.
Who are you? Who is this guy really that he has Bloomberg's phone number? Interesting. Or is that just a ploy? Or does he have Bloomberg's casual phone number, but then when the real phone number, or if he makes a phone call, will they change the phone number on him?
That can hold him to his promises, and don't think I won't. Okay, I do that with local politicians. As a matter of fact, I'm preparing a presentation right now for our city council tonight for the disparity study 1 year anniversary. What do we get done? What do we accomplish? Okay, so I get involved. I just don't talk about it and complain about it on Facebook and social media. I actually go out and get involved. Okay, it's two different things to talk about it on social media. Then it's another thing to actually go out and talk to your politicians and make sure they're keeping their word.
But he's over here talking on social media, right?
And make sure they're keeping their word, okay? And so with Mike Bloomberg, I'm going to make sure he keeps his word if he becomes the president. And I know once he becomes president, it's going to be hard to actually contact him. But guess what? At least, we have a way of talking to him. And good morning, Anna. Good morning. Good to see you. But anyway, I just want to jump on and say that I am 100% behind Mike Bloomberg. I think he's going to be a great candidate. I'm once again voting out of party. I voted out of party with Barack Obama twice. And other than that, I've never voted out of party. But I'm going to vote out of party this time for Mike Bloomberg. And as far as stop and frisk goes, he has no reason to apologize for stop and frisk. Okay? I don't know why.
Now, what did he say? He said he has no reason to apologize for stop and frisk. I just want y'all to sit back and let that marinate for a minute. He has no reason to, right? This is what this guy said.
I voted out of party with Barack Obama twice. And other than that, I've never voted out of party. But I'm going to vote out of party this time for Mike Bloomberg. And as far as stop and frisk goes, he has no reason to apologize for stop and frisk. Okay? I don't know why we are asking him to apologize for stop and frisk, which he's already done. He's done that several times, to apologize for stop and frisk. Okay? And what reason why I say he doesn't need to apologize for stop and frisk is because I worked with the police department about 2 nights ago with a flex unit. I'm not going to mention the city. I'm not going to mention the department because it is confidential.
Now, I'm going to go back a little bit and He's going to explain why. I want y'all to listen to what he's saying. And he said he has no reason to apologize. And the reason why he doesn't have to apologize, because this guy went out pretty much on a ride along with some police department he doesn't want to mention. And he's going to explain what happened at this police department. And I guess this was the reason why Bloomberg doesn't have to apologize. So here we go.
The guys were standing on the corner, and I'm once again voting out of party. I voted out of party with Barack Obama twice. And other than that, I've never voted out of party. But I'm going to vote out of party this time for Mike Bloomberg. And as far as stop and frisk goes, he has no reason to apologize for stop and frisk. Okay? I don't know why we are asking him to apologize for stop and frisk, which he's already done. He's done that several times, to apologize for stop and frisk.
Do you hear his tone of voice? He's already done. I mean, he's really kissing that butt crack. He's already done. He's already apologized. I just want y'all to hear this. Let's go.
Stop and frisk. Okay? I don't know why we are asking him to apologize for stop and frisk, which he's already done. He's done that several times, to apologize for stop and frisk. Okay? And the reason why I say he doesn't need to apologize for stop and frisk is because I worked with the police department about 2 nights ago with a flex unit. I'm not going to mention the city. I'm not going to mention the department because it is confidential. But I worked with a flex unit the other day. It's a counter gang unit, put it that way. And we just went in the hood, okay? Not going in there very aggressive or nothing like that. And they just pointed out to me the guys that had guns, the guys that didn't. So one group of guys was standing on a corner, and you're right, Aubrey, but at least we can get one that knows that he owes us. But that's who I'm going with. That's my opinion. You know, you guys can go with whoever you want to and vote for whoever you.
Now, let me back up. He was responding to somebody commenting, and was a lady named Aubrey. And what was Aubrey saying? I'll get to it here in a second. Okay. Aubrey was saying just because he owes, in quotes, he owes us doesn't mean he needs to be our next president. Next. And he was like, that's correct, but I'm for him. I'm standing with him. That's who I'm voting for. Paraphrasing what he's saying. But that's what Aubrey said as he was talking. So apparently this Aubrey was listening to his live as he was talking. She said, just because he owes us doesn't mean he needs to be our next president.
The guys that didn't. So one group of guys was standing on a corner, and you're right, Aubrey, but at least we can get one that knows that he owes us. But that's who I'm going with. That's my opinion. You know, you guys can go with whoever you want to and vote for whoever you want to. But in terms of somebody that can beat Donald Trump, he's the only one that can beat him. I'm sorry. Okay. But anyway.
And there's what I was talking about earlier. He's using the talking points. He's the only one that can beat Donald Trump. So you just going on because he can beat Donald Trump. That's who he's going with. He knows he can beat Donald Trump. All right.
You're right, Aubrey, but at least we can get one that knows that he owes us. But that's who I'm going with. That's my opinion. You know, you guys can go with whoever you want to and vote for whoever you want to. But in terms of somebody that can beat Donald Trump, he's the only one that can beat him. I'm sorry. Okay. But anyway, going back to what I was saying. So we saw a group of guys on the corner. 2 of them were known gangbangers, you know, and they couldn't have been no more than 18 years old. No more than 18 years old. Matter of fact, one of them looked like he could have been maybe 10 or 11 or 12. It was kind of hard. It was heartbreaking. I guess that's the word you want to use. But anyway, so we stopped. Okay, we asked some questions. We asked for some ID. And none of them wanted to show us ID. Except for one of them. One of them did show us ID. And we asked, if you don't show us ID, we're going to have to, we're doing a weapons check. We're doing a safety check. And
Hold on. You gonna do what? We doing what? And then he jumps into, well, we doing a safety. We doing a weapons check. You're doing a weapons check, right? He kind of glossed over, what are they gonna do if they don't show ID? I don't know. Since he don't want to say where he was at, could it be that where he was at, that it was such a confidential operation, there might not be any laws against not showing your ID?
To show us ID, except for one of them. One of them did show us ID, and we asked, if you don't show us ID, we're going to have to, we're doing a weapons check. We're doing a safety check. And out of 6 guys, 4 of them had guns. 4 of them had guns. We confiscated 9mm, 45s, 40 caliber, all on teenagers. Okay? All on teenagers. All right? Didn't turn them in, didn't take them in or nothing like that, because we just got the guns. And talked to them. We just talked to them.
Hey, just talk to him.
Sat down and had a man-to-man, boy-to-men, father-son conversation. None of them had records. None of them had criminal record. 2 of them were known gangbangers, and they couldn't have been no more than 18 years old. No more than 18 years old. Matter of fact, one of them looked like he could have been maybe 10 or 11 or 12. It was kind of hard. It was heartbreaking. I guess that's the word you want to use. But anyway, so we stopped. Okay, we asked some questions. We asked for some ID, and none of them wanted to show us ID. Except for one of them. One of them did show us ID, and we asked, if you don't show us ID, we're going to have to, we're doing a weapons check. We're doing a safety check. And out of 6 guys, 4 of them had guns. 4 of them had guns. We confiscated 9mm, 45s, 40 caliber, all on teenagers. Okay? All on teenagers. All right?
So they got 45s, 40 calibers. And there was another one mentioned. And he put the S's on at the end of them. 45s, okay, 40 cals, and 9mm with an S. Out of the 6 guys, 4 guys had 9mm, 45s, and 40s. And you just confiscated them, and you talked to them. You talked to them like a man. Grown man to son, father to son. You hear how he's talking, right? That's his mindset of what he thinks on how he talks to them. Oh, I'm the father, you're the son. Let's have a father and son talk.
45s, 40 caliber, all on teenagers. Okay? All on teenagers. All right? Didn't turn them in, didn't take them in or nothing like that, because we just got the guns.
We got the guns.
And talked to them. We just talked to them. Just sat down and had a man-to-man, boy-to-men, father-son conversation with these guys. And you know what's really interesting? None of them had records. None of them had criminal records. None of them had criminal records. That means that they can go out and actually get a job. None of them had criminal records. One of them is, I'm going to send to the Navy recruiter. As a matter of fact, she's on my page. I'm going to take him to the Navy recruiter. Okay, he's going to turn 17.
He said her and then him. Which one was it?
And to the Navy recruiter. As a matter of fact, she's on my page. I'm going to take him to the Navy recruiter. Okay, he's going to turn 17 in July. And in school, not going to mention any names, in school, but he hardly ever goes to school. I'm about to go talk to his mother today and find out, what the real issue is. But here's an opportunity to get this young man out of gangbanging. Okay, here's an opportunity. This is a great opportunity. Get this man out of gangbang. Now, once we get him out and he gets into the military or gets into a good job or something, or gets into a job, it might not be the best job, then we're going to highlight him. We're going to show him off on Facebook, social media, and everything like that. But these are the things that we have to do, because stop and frisk, that's the only way you get guns off these streets. Ain't nobody snitching in the community. Nobody's going to tell us who got the guns. Okay, nobody's going to tell us that. All right. So
in other words, this guy here, as you heard him yourselves, he's down with the stop and frisk. Not all the issues that came about with the stop and frisk, not that it was targeting specific people unfairly. He looked at it like, hey, it was a good day. We got some. They pretty much what he was saying. He went out to an unknown. He don't want to mention the department. He don't want to mention where he went to, but pretty much he went to ride along with some police officers, and they went out and did some stop and frisk. It's basically what he's pretty much said he did. He went out to do some stop and frisk with some police officers. He didn't take the kid. Him and these unknown officers, they didn't take anybody to jail. I'm sure if you listen to his video a few times over, you'll start listening and finding the holes in his commentary. But basically what he said he went out to do was he went out and did a stop and frisk. And he's campaigning for the stop and frisk. And what he said earlier, that's his reasoning as to why Bloomberg doesn't have to apologize. Because I guess he's trying to say, look, we did a stop and frisk and we got guns off some little teenage boys, teenage gangbangers. We got them off the teenage gangbangers. We went and did a stop and frisk with this police department that I'm not going to mention. So again, like I said, he did a stop and frisk and he wanted to do the stop and frisk program to show that it works, but he don't want to mention what department he did it with or nothing like that. Right? Interesting.
Get guns off these streets. Ain't nobody snitching in the community. Nobody's going to tell us who got the guns. Okay? Nobody's going to tell us that. All right? So, but honestly, after that, I actually felt that we prevented a homicide or a shooting. I just, deep down inside, I just feel that, because if we hadn't, maybe not the same night, not the next day, but maybe 3 weeks from now, they could have got into a bang out there on the street, and one of them could have got killed, and then we're looking at another teenager on a T-shirt. Okay? We're looking at another teenager on a T-shirt. So the stop and frisk policy, I understand where Bloomberg is coming from with that. I do. I understand it, because that's the only... guys, you don't understand these streets. Y'all really don't understand these streets. We understand them because we're out there. We're out there. We ain't, brother, let me tell you something. We're not out there banging up, throwing kids up against the...
We out there. We know about these streets. He knows about these streets. He knows about these streets. Because he's out there. He's out there doing a stop and frisk. And according to him, it's a game changer. I'm going to play a little bit more and then I'm going to get on out of here. Of course, I'm going to post up the other picture from the other black, I guess she's well-to-do. And like I said, we're going to get out of here after that. I just wanted y'all to hear a little bit of this because these are the people that's going to be trying to recruit black folks. And from what he's saying, he pretty much wants more of the same. I don't know if he has any grandchildren because he looks kind of up there in age, so he probably doesn't have any young children. Although that's not impossible. You can be older and have kids that are younger than 18. But I wonder if it's all good for any of his grandchildren or any young relatives of his for them to be stopped and frisked.
But honestly, after that, I actually felt that we prevented a homicide or a shooting. I just, deep down inside, I just feel that, because if we hadn't, maybe not the same night, not the next day, but maybe 3 weeks from now, they could have got into a bang out there on the street, and one of them could have got killed, and then we're looking at another.
And you don't know that for sure. So that's why you only said you kind of feel that. I kind of feel. You can't go on feelings. All right? This ain't a game of feelings. You got to go off of facts.
The teenager on a T-shirt. Okay? We're looking at another teenager on a T-shirt. So the stop and frisk policy, I understand where Bloomberg is coming from with that. I do. I understand it because that's the only... Guys, you don't understand these streets. Y'all really don't understand these streets. We understand it because we're out there. We're out there. Brother, let me tell you something. We're not out there banging up, throwing kids up against the walls. We're talking to them. We're having a conversation with them. We're giving them options. And out of those 6 guys that were on the street, and I mean this, none of them, not one of them had a criminal background record. No felonies, no nothing. What does that mean? That means they can get jobs. That means that they can go out here and really go into a good life. So that was in the hood. I'm not going to mention the hood. I'm not going to mention the police department. But we're going to be doing it again real soon. And city by city, hood by hood, we're going to start taking these guns off the street. Hood by hood. Okay, because that's the...
City by city, hood by hood, they're going to do the stop and frisk. Right? That's what he's saying. City by city, hood by hood, we're going to do that stop and frisk.
Only way you're going to do it, guys. They're not giving up their guns. Just like... nobody's giving up their guns.
Now,
okay?
Notice he kind of didn't want to say anything else. Let's listen to that one again.
That was in the hood. I'm not going to mention the hood. I'm not going to mention the police department. But we're going to be doing it again real soon. And city by city, hood by hood, we're going to start taking these guns off the street. Hood by hood. Okay? Because that's the only way you're going to do it, guys. They're not giving up their guns. Just like...
Just like what? Look, notice how he jumped over that. Just like what?
City by city, hood by hood, we're going to start taking these guns off the street. Hood by hood. Okay? Because that's the only way you're going to do it, guys. They're not giving up their guns. Just like... nobody's giving up their guns. Okay?
It almost sounds like he was getting ready to say, just like he ain't giving up his guns. When you look at the video, even when you listen to it, his little stumble, he's saying they ain't giving up the guns, just like... they ain't giving up the guns. But it sounded like he was getting ready to say, just like, I ain't giving up my guns. Let's hear it again.
The gun. Just like, nobody's giving up their guns. City by city, hood by hood, we're going to start taking these guns off the street. Hood by hood. Okay? Because that's the only way you're going to do it, guys. They're not giving up their guns. Just like, nobody's giving up their guns. Okay? It's a safety. He didn't apply stop and frisk across the board, though, to target blacks and Latinos. You're right, Corey. You're absolutely right. He apologized for that, but let me ask you something. Where is all the crime? Let's look at it per capita. Where is all the crime? Be real. Don't be in denial. Be real. Don't be in denial. Where is all the crime taking place? It ain't taking place out here in Great Neck. All right?
So Corey said, Bloomberg didn't apply stop and frisk across the board, meaning everywhere across the city. And this guy here, Clarence, said, Yeah, that's right. But he's saying, but where's all the crime really at? Be honest, man. Where's the crime really at? So he's one of these type of dudes. You see what it is with him, with this commenting, right? You see what it is with this guy. So I'm just going to leave it at that. You guys want to, go on his page, be his friend. It's Clarence Khalil Neely on Facebook. You guys can hit him up, friend him, listen to his video, and maybe you can ask him some questions on some things he said. All right. So let me, with that being said, man, I think I'm going to get out of here. Of course, I'm going to post this, if I can find it, I know another way I can do it. I'm just going to post this up real quick on the screen for you guys to see, just to take a look at it. And let me locate it real quick here. And let me see. All right, let me try to find it this way really fast here. Alrighty, hold on. Let me make sure it's not on this page. Alright, let me try to find it here. There we go. Alright, so this is what, this is the picture here you guys are going to be taking a look at. Alright, let me go down a little bit here. And it says, Bloomberg is my personal friend. Now, she's saying this just like the dude said, just like Clarence said. He has his number. She's saying, this is my personal friend. He is not a racist. Bloomberg has apologized to our people for the stop and frisk. That sounds familiar as well. And she goes on to say, that was put into place by former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, Bloomberg's predecessor, and Trump's personal lawyer. Bloomberg ended it while serving as mayor. So she's saying he ended stop and frisk when he was serving as mayor. Black on black murder rates and crimes was out of control in New York. And she's not from, or she didn't live in New York. I know that she lived in I know personally, because like I said, she was I went to her to get some dental work at one time, some years back. So how would she know what's going on in New York? All right. But she says, and I'm from New York, by the way, at the same time. Black on black murder rates and crimes was out of control in New York and all over the country. So she's saying black on black murder rates and crimes was out of control in New York and all over the country. He got enormous amounts of illegal guns out the hands of black children and adults, and he brought the murder rate down 50% in New York. He closed the wealth gap between black and white people, increased the graduation rate of black students 42%, has the best housing model in the country for low income, and took on the NRA. Let me see what else. Okay, I can read the rest of this. Bloomberg workforce is 43% black, and he has given billions of dollars to black people, more than any other person we know, including our beloved Queen Oprah Winfrey. Watch this video, The Greenwood Initiative. That's not fake news. He is the only presidential candidate with the headquarters in Chattanooga and has left, like that's a big deal, and has left millions of dollars here with local media, both black and white, and employed many people we know to work in his campaign. He's employed people to work in his campaign. Interesting. That means he employed you to make all these words, these great words. And so that's why you campaigning for him, because he gave you a fat check. His number one goal is to defeat Donald Trump. He is the one with the resources to do it. Money matters in this presidential race, unfortunately. Last but not least, this is my personal letter of support. Organizations that I lead or affiliate with have not endorsed the candidate. Obama is messing with him, and so am I. Dr. Woods. All right. And there you have it. She took a picture with him, and you can go through that article or go through that comment what she put down, or you can listen back to this audio and make what you want to make out of it yourself. All right. It says something about the NAACP, and we know what their get down is and their track record is. So I'm just going to leave that to you, what you heard, what I read, the audio you heard. Again, you guys can friend him up. You want to be a friend of his? Check him out. Clarence Khalil Neely. And you can check out Eleanora Woods. Dr. Eleanora Woods. Facebook friend them. Maybe you agree with what they're talking about. Sounds real shaky to me, though. Anyway, I appreciate you guys again. Thanks for listening to the podcast. It's getting real out here in the field. It's getting real serious. It's getting real tricky and janky with folks trying to recruit people. It's getting real slick out here. So keep your eyes open. Become critical thinkers, analytical thinkers. Examine what you hear and see and read, and analyze what you are reading and hearing. If you got to replay it or reread it, so you can make sure you know what's being said and see the games that's being played or not being played. Maybe you don't think a game is being played, but I've noticed a pattern. She said the same similar things that this guy said, and I'm almost 100% sure they don't even know each other, which seems to me to be that there's a script going out there with these talking points. All right. With that being said, you definitely rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast. We got another one in. I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned. Continue to share these podcasts and get ready to listen to some more, man. All right. One love. Appreciate everybody checking us out on the audio platforms, the podcast platforms, social media platforms, checking out the show. And I am gone. Peace.